When I first stumbled across Digimon Paladin Mode Ace, this hilarious but potent combo gave me a lot of silly ideas. To that end, the previous build, which you can find in the description of this video, had a primary focus on cheating out the Paladin Mode Ace as quickly as possible and then smashing into security for game. But with newer cards, since BT17 and EX7, is there more I can do? Before, I was primarily trying to cheat into that level 7 Paladin Mode Ace, but by combining with another archetype, it balances out what used to be a glass cannon style deck into something of more substance, including some immunity and defensive options. Per the usual, I'll discuss some of the newer cards that make their way into the deck, along with the combos before providing a big picture of what my current deck profile is. In no way is this deck profile perfect, but it provides you, my viewers, a baseline to start. As always, if you enjoy these types of videos, do consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and hitting that notification bell for more future content. Jijimon was released in BT11 quite a few sets ago and has a when digivolving effect that reveals the top 3 cards of your deck and plays one tamer among them without paying the cost. The rest get bottom decked or returned to the top for its secondary effect. When attacking once per turn, for each green or black tamer you have in play, you reveal the top card of your deck. Then you get to play any number of green or black Digimon whose total play cost adds up to 10 without paying their cost. The rest get bottom decked. In a previous video I had done, like I said, the purpose was to turbo up to this Digimon and try and stack Imperial Dramon Paladin Mode Ace to the top, and then use Jijimon's effect to play it out with a tamer on board. Jijimon fundamentally breaks a lot of rules of the Digimon card game, considering you not only get to play most level 5 and lower Digimon, but Ace Digimon as well in the level 6 and 7 category. Because of this, you have a wide variety of targets, even more so now depending on your local meta. For example, if your local meta is predominantly a tamer heavy or hybrid format style, Grandgalemon ACE is a great card to run. Though if you are playing this as one of your dominating top ends, I do recommend adjusting your middle base into a more insectoid base. Cherubimon ACE could be another top end option that ever builds your board wider. One additional advantage to this is you can now access a super top end boss in the form of Chaosmon Valderarm. But with the Vortex variant, this opens up new possibilities with Zephagamon ACE. This level 6 Digimon has the feel of a level 7 Digimon, and at the same time it can digivolve from a level 6 Digimon that has a play cost of 10 or more with the Vortex Warrior trait. Because of this Digimon, when you play it, it suspends one Digimon. Then for every 2 suspended Digimon, you return one of your opponent's suspended Digimon to the bottom of the deck. Meaning with Jijimon's initial attack, and playing this Digimon, you can suspend one of your opponent's Digimon and then bottom deck it. And whether you have the inheritable panjyamon for Rush, this Digimon does have Vortex, which means as long as your opponent has an attack target, you can at the end of your turn attack into that Digimon. In regards to other new cards for consideration but not used, the newest BT20 Shoto Kazuma functionally is a scramble, and can simultaneously play out that memory fixer Shoto for that changing target of attack. But one thing to enlighten my viewers on is the start of main. This Shoto can return itself to the bottom of the deck to play another Shoto from hand without paying the cost. Meaning you could play memory fixer Shoto or the EX7 variant. But do keep in mind that memory gain would not trigger, because all start of main effects trigger at the same instance, and then from there, it cascades into each resolution of each effect. Briefly, if you do want to explore the insectoid-based version of this deck, level 5 options would be the Metal Life Kuwagamon, because this does create an option for you to blast on top of, with Grandgalemon ACE in order to achieve that attack target switch, along with a big DP buff. And of course you'll be running Blade Kuwagamons and Tentomons as well. But for today's deck profile, we look at some of the silliest options to consider for the deck. Is it true LIberator or Vortex? Not by any means. And is it worthwhile to run? Honestly, it all depends on what your thoughts are when it comes to deck building and playing. From a purist perspective, no way in hell would you want to do something like this because you probably run all medieval Galantmons in place of the Jijimon, since that canonically follows the line better. But if you're building on budget, this is definitely a hilarious avenue to pursue. For the level 2s, I keep it simple with starter deck 17 gummymon for the card draw when you have a green tamer in play, because draw power is key to finding your pieces, and conveniently sometimes you can cycle the card you drew back to the top in order to play it. For the 5th egg, you can opt to run one, or none, with options pointing most towards Fluffymon for the suspension of a Digimon with as much or less DP as the attacking Digimon, to proc most likely Zephagamon ACE's on-play effect. Alternatively, EX7 Fluffymon if you manage to delete an opponent's Digimon in battle to gain a memory. Needless to say, the fact that you have to delete something to gain the memory gives it less potential in my mind. Level 3s, you could honestly go all pteromons in this lineup, though I have at least 3 slots for terriermon. Able to play a tamer for a reduced cost, and that all turns plus 1000 DP when it's suspended? Could be worthwhile. The pteromons themselves are the searcher, or the one that can on-play suspended Digimon, but both provide a plus 2000 DP buff. Pretty simple stuff here. If you wanted to, you could incorporate the third pteromon for extra Liberator and bird targets, but I don't think it's necessary. Not to mention, its effect is half as consistent if your level 4s aren't all Galemon. Level 4s, of course, I'm on 4 copies of Tortomon for that place back on top of the deck to play something, with 2 copies of all the different Galemons. EX7 Galemon at 2 copies lets me play Shoto if I have 1 or fewer tamers in play. The starter deck Galemon offers the security ability to play a Liberator trait card with a cost of 4 or less from your hand or trash if it's hit in security, Digimon included. The last one is the pteromon, which plays an interesting role, in that on play when Digivolving you may suspend one Digimon, and then one of your Digimon may Digivolve into an avian or bird trait Digimon for a reduced cost of 1 for each other suspended Digimon. This is one interesting aspect in that with Jijimon's effect when you attack. If you happen to hit 2 level 4s, one of these included, or this level 4 and a level 3 Digimon, playing both out can give you an advantage to climb up into Grandgalemon for a reduced cost of at minimum 2. Fact is, all of these serve some hilarious purpose, that generally I didn't want to leave any of them out. Though if the security variant isn't your thing, it's a decent one in that it could play Shoto from hand. Level 5s, it's honestly just Grandgalemon for the potential Vortex, and an inheritable that unsuspends it. Keep in mind, because of how Grandgalemon works, you can suspend itself to give immunity. Then with Shoto's end of turn effect, give it piercing and blocker before it unsuspends. The only other option, of course, being panjyamon. I've covered all the level 6 options, and for my personal build, it's 4 Jijimon, along with 3 Zephagamon ACE, and 1 Grandgalemon ACE. And of course the level 7s, a downgrade from 3 Paladin Mode ACE to just 2. Option card wise, the only cards I'm looking at are the agility trainings, because memory boost can bottom deck my tamers. And of course for tamers, 3 copies of Memory Fixer Shoto Kazuma for the redirecting attacks, and 4 copies of the one that gives blocker and piercing. Considering you have a lot of Vortex Warrior targets, that unsuspend will also come in handy. But overall, this deck looks at a much more budget-friendly and hilarious aspect of the deck in conjunction with Old Man Jijimon. And ultimately, do you think this is one of the more fun ways to pursue Vortex? Or do you think a purist variant is better for you in the end? Let me know your thoughts on this variant, and I'll catch you on more uploads this week. This is Digi-Panda, logging out.